This video has been brought to you by DataVinci Analytics Agency.
Hi, my name is Shashank and welcome to the video. We're gonna talk about consent mode v2 changes. What are we going to cover? Well, we're gonna cover changes introduced by new consent mode v2 updates. We're gonna discuss where these changes specifically apply and if they even apply for you. We're gonna discuss how to update your current setup in line with version 2. And we're gonna find out if you need any immediate solutions to the problem. How does this video help? Well, this video helps by helping you understand the impact of these new changes. It's gonna help you by guiding you through possible solutions that you could set up really quickly to avoid being affected by this change. And in case of, again, quick solutions, we're gonna tell you what to do in the immediate foreseeable future. Next up, let's discuss what exactly are these changes. So let's get started. First, let's discuss what exactly are these. Well, the EEA, which is European Economic Area, decided that all of participants would mandate a user personalization choice be put into any kind of ad metadata that could be sent to Google services or just services in general. So the effect of that on our tracking, or specifically in terms of tracking, would be if you're operating within the EEA zone, you need to have further details be added on to the data that you're sending to your Google Ads or other advertising platform. But mainly for our case, it would be Google Ads, right? And don't worry if you do not typically, let's say, use ad personalization. This change has the potential to roll out to the rest of the world. So you may just operate in another country that's outside of EEA, but it's still worth it going through the video because these changes could be then further rolled down globally, right? So what are the next steps recommended by Google? Well, first up, you have, if you don't have a consent banner, you'll need to set it up. If you do have a consent banner, but you're not sending these parameters, you need to investigate basically if your consent banner does send these data points automatically. There's a lot of CMP, which is Google's certified management platform, consent management platform. These apps have already been updated to include these data points in the new data that they sent out. If you don't have a banner or you have a custom banner, you'll need to now manually code, let's say, consent choices onto your website that could further then trickle down to GA4 and by extension Google Ads through your tagging setup. So typically that's Google Tag Manager, but if you have a G tag, you'll have to enhance that G tag with a lot more detail. Now, next question, what are the different consent types or consent parameter types that are introduced in this update? Well, first up, it's ad storage. It enables ad storage such as cookies or device identifiers related to advertising. We have ad user data, which sets consent for sending data user for online and advertising purposes. We have ad personalization, which contains consent for ad personalization. And we have analytics storage, which enables or disables analytics storage such as cookies or, again, device identifiers. These are the new, or let's say, parameters that you need to include now if you're collecting data from EEA. All right, we've been saying you're gonna lose out. So what's the consequence of not having ad personalization set up? So let's discuss if one is not following these regulations, what's gonna happen, or what's it gonna look like with the data that they have. This here is a handy infographic by an esteemed member of the community, Mr. Moha, and let me just go over basically what it's trying to explain. So it gives you a simple breakdown of what you're gonna have in terms of ad personalization, behavior modeling, conversion modeling in both GA4 and Google Ads. Just to outline, this is a community resource by a great name in the community by the name of Moha, and you could check on it for more reference on these details. But this chart depicts what you're actually getting with the amount of choice on consent that you have on your site. A basic definition that we would like to currently go over is an advanced cookie implementation versus a basic consent implementation. Well, an advanced cookie or advanced consent implementation is an implementation where you have a preference mode wherein if the user has not explicitly blocked you from allowing, you're allowed to track any data on the site. They have to manually go in and turn off the toggles for the blocking, the tracking to blocked. This would be if I was to give an example of, imagine going to any kind of a site that has any ties to or any form of operations around the Europe economic region. So that site would most definitely have always, before you can even visit the site, a pop-up happen where you have to select what cookie choices you want. And unless you select all of them, the default option is allow all cookie. Well, that would be a basic implementation because they're forcing you to make the choice before you can actually get into the site and browse anything, because they prefer to track, or they prefer everyone to give their consent before they start tracking them. Another method of doing this is, and I'll take you back to another kind of site where you browse the site, but there's a small pop-up below the site which says, hey, we're tracking all cookies. You don't want to do it. Here's the small configure button. Well, that's an advanced type of cookie configuration wherein they have turned on all of the consent choices by default, and you have to manually go in and turn each one of them off. Next up, here's a chart depicting what are you gonna get from Google Tools based on what type of implementation you have. An advanced implementation gives you the benefit of all three, which is behavior modeling in GA4, which is one of the modeling methods that GA4 uses to enhance its reporting. Conversion modeling both in GA4 and Google Ads. Conversion modeling basically is a method where you can go ahead and draw conclusions from the conversion data that you have collected over time. A basic implementation will get the benefit of conversion modeling in both Google Ads and GA4, but it will not have behavior modeling included in it because you're blocking user data before somebody can track the site, and basically a lot of features get blocked that way which are utilized in behavior modeling. Let's go over how you could easily spot if you have the need or you require to make these changes in your analytics implementation. First of all, head into your GA4 account. This could be simply analytics@analytics.google.com, and then head into this is the page you'll see when it boots up. Head bottom left into admin, click into data streams, and then whatever data stream that you have. This is of course the data stream for our company, and it has a green check, which means everything's fine. But if you do have data coming in from EA and you've not done the proper required setup, this tick here would be yellow, and within the consent settings, these options would have either a red marker or a yellow marker for them. Again, we fix this so it doesn't show up for us, but you may have that here. And the rest not basically to tell you that anything's blocked. It's more of a cautionary warning that you may lose out on, as example, measurement or behavior modeling for users. So it'll tell you if your consent signals are coming in, if the personalization signals are detected, which are the new, if there is a verification method in place. What is a quick method to get past behavior modeling not being available in GA4? Well, this is not suggested, but definitely one of the methods wherein you go into your product links, which would be right besides or right under the data stream option, you go into Google Ads links and you could turn off enable personalized advertising. This is definitely not recommended, but a quick solution. Taking the example of one of the most popular tools used to implement Google Consent, and this is a CMP, which is Certified Management Program for Google Consent. It's OneTrust, right? So let's say you have another tool which is a CMP tool. It is verified by Google. Most likely it has already upgraded its features to offer the required changes for consent mode BT. For example, on OneTrust, there's this handy article going in detail for your developers to let them know what exactly has changed and if they need to make any custom updates. So these are the automatic updates, and if any custom updates need be made, the details are provided. So using a tool, most likely it has a documentation out that will define how you could integrate these elements so you can get the teams working as soon. What if you don't have a CMP, which is Google's certified consent management platform, onto your site? Well, Google has provided us with a guide of exactly how to go about it, and we'll link this in the description, of course. But basically you can go about doing consent through your actual G tag, and the in-depth guide will show you exactly what needs to go on your web page in terms of JavaScript and how to trigger it to set this consent platform up. There are also handy links which could help you further set this up. So this is a great resource for your developers. To sum everything up, Google now basically needs every single user from EEA to consent to be included in the modeling and processing of data within GA4 and Google Ads. The tools and the data that these tools collect has been upgraded around them. Want to keep up, you should be collecting all of these new data points into your tools. That's me for the day. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.